Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a highly anticipated setup and review for the Omanik quantum frame. I got my frame in the mail about a week ago and a lot of people were interested in seeing how, I set it up. And little do they know that it was already in the works that I was going to do something like that. So I haven't done a product review on this channel before, so I'm kind of nervous. I don't really know if I'm going to be doing it as well as I probably could, but I'll try my best. I will show you what all comes with, in the mail from the Omanik Factory for the frame. I will then, as best as I can, show you how to set it up, and then at the end I'll do an overall review and certain details about ordering and time it took to get here and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to try to make this a family friendly video, so everybody sit back and enjoy, and if you like what you see, get in contact with me and I can tell you how you can go about ordering an Omanik frame yourself. I'll probably link the main website below, but go ahead and shoot me a message on Instagram or a comment down below and I'll try to answer any questions at the end of the video as best as I can. Okay, here we go. Alright, due to limited space literally everywhere in the house, I'm resorted to attempting to put this together on my bed. So, here is everything that will come in your box. 8 pieces, that's it. You'll have your 2 scroll bars, you'll have the 2 pins that go in the slots of each scroll bar, you'll have your sidebars here, and then you'll have the 2 screws that will go in the sidebar. Now, one thing you're going to want to have is something to tap the fabric into the slots of the scroll bars. Many people use a credit card. Today I'm going to be using a Jimmy John's gift card. No, I'm not, I'm not being sponsored by them or anything. This is what works best for me. So let's put her together. All right, eventually I will get this correct. This is what I call make and do. Not a lot of room in my house. Everywhere's a pit. This is the best I got. But I will show you that you can do this on a bed, even though it would probably work better on a flatter surface. But I live dangerously. Let's do this. Okay. So you got your 2 scroll bars. What you'll want to do is just separate them out a bit. You'll take your fabric, align it, however the project needs to be aligned. And then what you'll want to try to do is to get about 2 or 3 inches of extra fabric hanging over the edge. You see these slots in the scroll bars? You'll take your card or whatever you may have that'll do the same thing, and you'll just tap in your fabric into the slot of the scroll bar. You can adjust, the overhang at this point if you want. However, I recommend maybe waiting until after you have the pins in, and I'll show you that in a second. So you got that in. Take one of your pins here, and there is a little opening on the side of the scroll bar to insert the pin. Now what I do is I hold my fabric to where the pin meets the fabric to prevent the pin, like if you got a bad angle going in with the pin, it may catch the fabric and move the fabric. So I like to hold the fabric until I've got it a good way in through the scroll bar. And there you go. There's one side, nicely secured. Then let's do the other side. This will cooperate. All right, here we go. Okay, good 2 or 3 inches overhang of fabric. Same thing. Take your card or what have you, tap it in to the slot of the scroll bar. Take your pin. I hold my fabric at the entry here. I just glide in the pin. And there you go. You have a secured piece of fabric. Now, let's say you look and you see that you've got maybe, more fabric hanging out on this side than you do down here. Although I think I got mine pretty even, but let's just say. You'll take your card and you'll go to the side with the least amount of overhang. Let's do down here. And then you'll lightly tap the pin as you lightly pull the fabric. I'm sorry, that was a bad angle. Maybe I should see. It's okay, right here. Here we go. You'll lightly tap as you lightly pull out the fabric. You can see how I am pulling it out. Now, let's say you've got the opposite problem. Let's say you've got too much fabric. You'll do the same thing, except from the opposite direction. You'll pull from the opposite side of the scroll bar. You look pretty good there. We look good down here. I think we look pretty good down here. Now, the key is to have your fabric straight up and down. But let's say you've got a little bit of an angle, but maybe you can't really tell from extending the bars if your angle is off or not. Here's what I do, and I do not recall seeing anybody else do this. What I do is I bring both of the scroll bars together. And let me show you here. If you can even see. This is going to be awkward. Okay. All right. As you can see, the fabric is not fully straight up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to tap. I wish there was a better way to, show you this. Okay. I'm just going to tap the pin, and I'm going to move the fabric. I'm going to hold this down because sometimes you can't really see it on this side, but maybe you can see it on this side. The pin sort of moved as I did that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold the fabric. Once I see that I have it straight, I'm going to hold the fabric. I'm just going to push the pin. So as you can see now, it's nice and straight. Okay. Now what you'll want to do is you want to separate the fabric enough to fit in your side stretchers. Now, as you can see, I have them apart. The screw does not get screwed in to the hole of the sidebar. The screw is for stretching. So don't be freaked out, because I know I was kind of nervous when I saw that there was no rivets in there for the screw. You just slide them in. Don't worry, everything is okay. Just slide in the screws. Then you'll want to sort of look, make sure this is where the fun part comes. Decide what area of the piece you are going to work on. For me, I'm going to work directly in the middle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the scroll bars until I think I've got the right amount of room to fit my side stretchers. Now, what I have found, because as you can tell just by looking, the slots for the sidebars aren't exactly center of the scroll bar. I have found that that's okay. So you don't need to have both scroll bars facing up if you don't want to. This will work fine. I mean, you'll need to either have them facing up or facing completely down, because you won't be able to insert the sidebar if you've got that, if the slot is on the top. I hope that made sense. Okay. So you'll want to have enough room here, and I just sort of eyeball with the sidebars. Now, as you can see, you know, it's going to take a lot of screwing to even get that up there. So we'll do one more turn of the scroll bar here. We will insert the sidebar. Now, as you can see, I probably could have had another, well, it's probably easier to see down here. Insert the sidebar into the side slots of the scroll bar. Now, as you can see, I probably have another good rotation of the scroll bar if I wanted to. But as you'll see, these scroll bars, or these sidebars, will extend almost double after you screw them. So it's okay that there might still be some extra, you know, turning room. But you'll also need enough room to fit in the side stretchers anyway. So you just insert the slots here. Okay. Then what I do is I hold it up. I get a good grip on the sidebar and the scroll bar, and then I'll twist with my thumb and my middle finger until I got it going. And these ones, you turn clockwise. And you'll see, you want to turn them at the, you know, the same amount at the same time to prevent, you know, anything from one side being too taut and then the other side not being taut enough. And I got nervous when I first put this together, when I first got it. You might hear why here in a little bit. But you just keep going. Oh, see, you hear it? These will squeak. But that just means you're getting good tension. Now, let's say you don't want it drum tight. Let's say you want just a little bit of slack. That's okay. You're good to go. But you can get these drum tight. Do not be afraid of getting them too tight. Oh yeah, see, we're getting there. I like a nice drum tight tension for my scroll bar, or for my fabric. Oh yeah, there you have nice and tight. Drum tight fabric. You know what, we could probably even tighten that side a little bit more. Now, I'm sure there's a point where you tighten it too much, which I would probably advise against. But, you know, you'd be surprised at the beating a fabric can take. My goodness. And there you've got a drum tight fabric that Neil Peart from Rush would be jealous of. Now, as you could see how I rolled the scroll bars, I rolled them this way rather than rolling it this way so that the fabric... Here's why I did that. Because when you're rolling it that way, when you have it, your working space in the well, as they call it, your scroll bars will have the back of your work exposed. Whereas if you were to roll them the other way, then the front of your work would be exposed on the scroll bars. And here's why that's important. Let's say you're working and you accidentally like nick the top here. You know, you would accidentally maybe damage the front of your work. Whereas if you've got the front of your work or the back of your work up here and you're stitching, you'll just nick the back of your work. Or as Nicola Parkman was showing in a video a couple of weeks ago, if you're, let's say you've got it attached to the Lowry or whatever stand you may be using, and you want to rest your hand here on the bottom on this bottom scroll bar, the oils on your hand may leave a mark, but if you were to do it that way, the mark would be on the back of your work rather than the front. I hope that made sense. Now, what I like to do after I get done working for whatever extended period of time is you can leave your project in the frame. However, I just to make me feel better, I loosen the scroll bar, the side stretchers a little bit, just so the fabric can go slack a little bit and you won't have to worry about losing that tension eventually. Because I'm sure if you have it drum tight the whole time the project is in the frame, eventually you may lose tension. Maybe. I don't know, because I'm not risking it for the biscuit. So there you go. And then just to remove, unscrew in the other direction. Simply take off the side stretchers. Unroll it. Take out the pin. One more turn, there we go. Take out the pin. Remove the fabric. You're ready to load another project. Fairly simple. It's fairly quick. Now, this segment might be a little bit longer. You know, don't base, you know, how long it takes on me explaining stuff, because explaining, you know, I'm adding more time than is necessary. 5 minutes tops for loading a project. It's fairly quick. And I just like being able to see more of my project with these. All right. I'm going to flip you back around. You're going to see my face. Let's talk about the quantum frame. All right. Let's talk about the quantum frame a little bit. So I had contacted the Omanik Factory, I'm looking at my emails here, on the 11th of January about the frame. They went through there was sort of a slump and whatever, because they were moving everything into a new factory. And so they apologized for the late response, which I totally understand. That's a big deal, moving everything. I had placed my request for the 80 by 15 centimeter frame on the same day, so that would have been January 22nd is when I told them which frame I wanted. They shipped it 1 week later on the 29th, and it arrived literally 2 weeks later on the 13th of February. So all in all, between saying, hey, this is which frame I want, and between it arriving at the house, only 3 weeks from Estonia, which I think is an incredible amount of time in a positive way. I honestly expected it to take a lot longer to get here, and when you think about it, it only took 2 weeks to get to the house. So I think that's a pretty good deal. I don't know how much the shipping cost was, but the 80 by 15 centimeter frame that I've got, I don't know the currency in Estonia, but converted to US dollar, it was only a little under $60 for that frame, which I think is an incredible price for that. I honestly expected it to be more. And I don't know. They were, for me, they were very responsive to any questions I might have had. The frame itself is actually a lot lighter than I had expected. Now it's still got some heft to it, but I definitely expected it to have more weight to it, which, as everybody probably knows, I don't have a stand for the frame, so I'm able to stitch in the frame in one hand, or holding it with one hand and stitching with the other. Now that does become a problem trying to get around it, but and I'm not holding that. I only stitch on the frame for a good hour before my arm gets tired from holding the frame. But I've got a couple of boxes. I will also prop the frame on those boxes, and I'm trying my best to do the whole two-handed thing. The tension is great, very tight. I mean, we're talking drum tight. Did not notice any loss of tension through the duration of when I stitch on it. Now, who's to say that won't be lost after 8 or so hours of stitching, but I don't stitch that long in any given day unless I really don't want to do anything. Let's see, what else? They've got sizes ranging, I think, from, let me just pull up their website here. Look, for I should have had all this ready prior. But they've got scroll bars as small as 30 centimeters. I have the smallest side stretchers, it looks like, with 15 centimeters. But they can get as big as 110 centimeters, which is pretty big. I don't know what that is in inches, but 80 centimeters is about 31-ish inches, and the side stretchers there about, I think, 7 inches when they're not extended. So they can extend to about, I think, almost a foot. I don't know. I didn't measure that part. But yeah, Omanik also has stands and different accessories for that. Might look into getting one of those at some point. But I really can't say enough good things about this frame. It's very well made. Yeah. I don't know, the squeakiness kind of gets a little kind of, like that after a while, but I'm sure that goes away after continued use. I think that's all I have to say in regards to the quantum frame. I hope I have answered everyone's questions and concerns. can't think of anything else I want to say about it. 2 thumbs up. I highly recommend it. I think it's a fairly good price for a frame, for that big of a frame. About $60 US. I mean, I think that's really good. But if anybody else has any questions about the frame itself, I'll link the Omanik website below. They've got a contact page, or if you have just any like small questions, you know, just of my experience with the frame, leave a comment below, or shoot me a message on Instagram. Don't shoot me a message on Facebook. I won't see it. So yeah, I think we'll end it here. I won't do my usual outro because I'm not labeling this as a floss tube. But, so this is family friendly. Michelle, you can have Rose watch this. So yeah, I hope I have answered everybody's questions. I know I said that already, but this is the point of the video where I just get verbal diarrhea and I don't know what to say anymore. So, take care everybody. I will maybe try to do a Stitch With Me video using the frame at some point, maybe. I don't know. Look for a regular floss tube, hopefully next week. But until then, everybody take care. And be kind to one another. Okay, bye.